Right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for jumping into this. This is the GEG Sydney launch party, the Google Educator Group of Sydney, which we've never had before. And we'll talk to you more about that as we go through. Right. Claire, I'm going to throw to you for this one.
Yeah, sure. So when we put together, we wanted to start our GEG, we came up with the 4 things that we wanted to be all about, and that's to learn from each other and learn about new Google tools, to share and exchange ideas with one another, to connect and meet people from in Sydney area or beyond, and to inspire each other, which is awesome. And that's what we're all here for.
Nice, good plan. Kel, do you want to go through the agenda quick?
Yeah, so this is our agenda for today. So obviously we're in the middle of our welcome at the moment, and we'll do an acknowledgement of country in a second. Then we're going to spend some time giving you an opportunity to get to know the 3 of us as the GEG Sydney leaders. We're going to then have some speed connections where you each get a chance to share a little bit about yourselves with some of the others in the call. Then Chris is going to take us through some AI tools in the classroom. Claire is going to go through some Google tips and teacher hacks. Then we're going to come back to me, and I'm going to, again, go out to you guys and ask what's working for you. And then we're going to wrap up with a little bit of what's next. So today's session is very much a bit of a taster of all of the things that you guys have asked for so far in the form that you filled out. And then at the end, we'll then go into what's next. So if you are keen for sharing what you're currently doing with Google, when I call out for people during that last local voices section, just stick your hand up, and we're very keen to have you guys share just as much as we do.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Well, we just want to welcome everyone here today and just acknowledge the country wherever you are. If you're in Sydney, of course, where this GEG is based, that'll be Gadigal country. But wherever it happens to be, I know we've got people coming from all over. You don't necessarily have to be in Sydney. We just want to acknowledge and pay respect to the traditional owners of the lands upon which we meet, wherever it is for you, and honour the connection to land, sea and community, and recognise the strength and resilience of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities in the face of colonisation. So yes, by the way, we threw this little icon down the bottom here. These slides will be available to you after actually they're available now. If you go to the website, they're there right now. So if you want the slides, just jump over to gegsydney.com. That little icon in the bottom corner here is actually to the Google Arts and Culture, and there's a great Arts and Culture page which has a whole bunch of stuff about acknowledgement of country, welcome to country, the difference between the two, some good examples of them. So if you want to sort of hunt around and sort of see some of the great stuff that is in Arts and Culture, that's not a bad example. This is the GEG Sydney launch party online event. There's never been a Google Educator Group in Sydney proper. There's been one in Western Sydney that was active for a little while, but it kind of fell off the rails a little bit for a whole bunch of reasons. And then there's been other GGs. There's been ones in Melbourne. There's been ones in Adelaide. There's a far north coast one. There's been briefly one in Brisbane. They've been all over the place, but we've never had one in Sydney. And Claire and Kelly, in conversation with me a while back, they said, we'd like to start a GEG in Sydney. And I went, oh, me too. And so we finally did. So this is the inaugural online event launch party. We kind of soft launched it at EduTech, where we sort of spoke a little bit about it. And a lot of you, or some of you maybe, are here because of the session there at EduTech. So welcome. And this is us. My name's Chris Betcher. I have been a teacher for most of my life, but I've also worked for Google for a little bit as well. And now I work for myself in a little company called Crux Learning. Kelly, do you want to just introduce you, or should we do that on the next page?
Yeah, on our own slide, maybe.
All right, okay. So that's the 3 of us. Just a little bit about me. I've been a teacher for a long time, since about 85. I originally was an art teacher, and then I kind of moved into technology and design and computing and multimedia, and just doing interesting things with computers, really. I've got all those things you can see there. I've got a Bachelor of Education in Art, but also all the Google certifications, Google Trainer and Innovator and Administrator and all that, bit of Adobe stuff. And we had to put a fun fact in about ourselves. When I was At art school, I actually played bass in a band called the Jelly Babies and actually played in pubs all over Sydney. I wonder if anyone in the room actually remembers that. That'd be hilarious. Anyway, Kelly.
Thanks, Chris. So, hi everyone. There's a lot of faces I know, but a lot of faces I also don't know on the chat. So very welcome to all of you. I'm really excited to get to know you guys over this journey. So yes, I was a teacher for a number of years. Science is my trade, so my passion is science teaching. But so while I was teaching, I also did Google Educator, Trainer, Innovator programs, and that's where I got to meet Chris and then got to meet Claire through the Champions program as well. So now I'm no longer in the classroom. I am the head of content strategy for science at Education Perfect. So my job now is working with EP to provide science teaching resources to schools across the globe, which is very exciting. And last year I published a book. I was going to say my first book, but that means there's going to be a second. So I published a book called The Engaging Science Classroom, which is really just a brain dump of all of the things I used to love to do in my classroom. And my fun fact is I have seen Bon Jovi 26 times in 3 countries, the first one being in 1995. So that is me.
All right.
And Claire.
So, hi everyone, I'm Claire. So I've been, I'm a primary teacher. I've been teaching for just over 20 years and I have a big passion for digital learning as well as creative arts in education. And I recently just finished a stint working as a digital learning specialist teacher for our head office. And now I've gone back to teaching at my school, Santa Sophia. And they've given me a couple of really cool roles. So I'm the K-4 e-learning instructional coach, and they've also made me the year 5 to 12 AI and digital learning coach, which is pretty cool. So yeah, just getting my head around how that works, plus teaching year 4 full time. So yeah, I'm busy. I've also done all of my Google certified. I did the online innovator program in 2021. Woohoo! And I've also been a trainer, an Apple learning coach as well, Seesaw ambassador, Brisk certified educator, and I just became a key ambassador as well. So I'm across all of these cool tools to share. And fun fact, I actually wanted to be an actress and I was on extra on a St. George ad back in 2002. Very cool.
Nice. All right. Well, Claire, do you want to tell us about what actually is a GEG, just for people who may not actually know why they're here? They just wandered here by mistake.
Yeah. So a GEG is an independent community of educators that we can work together to inspire and empower each other, help us to understand how we can help our students with technology in the classroom and beyond. And it's just a great place for, you don't have to have all your Google qualifications to join, just to be someone that's interested. And it's a great safe place for us to share ideas and practice with how we can use technology in the classroom and share ideas and support one another. So yeah.
Yep, exactly right. And it doesn't have, surprisingly, it doesn't have to all be about Google. And I know there are people in the room here I can see that I recognize who know an awful lot of really interesting stuff and ways to use technology in the classroom, but isn't necessarily Google focused. But of course, you know, we talk about the Google stuff, but if there's other interesting stuff as well, we're happy to talk about that. It's about learning and technology and kids ultimately. When you guys registered to be part of this GEG, there was a form you all filled out, and it asked 2 questions. It said, what's your role and what are you hoping to get out of this? And there's a really neat little feature now inside Google Forms. If you've got the Gemini license attached to your Google account, you can open up the summary of the form now and hit the little AI button, and it'll summarize all of that stuff for you. So what you're seeing here in this screen grab is the AI response. So if you want to know who so far has filled out that form and wants to be part of this GEG thing, that's who we've got. Mostly teaching roles, a bit of leadership and support, some instructional specialists, and there's also some higher ed folk in there as well. So that's who has put their hand up to be part of this. But the other interesting question is, there was a question there, what are you interested in learning about? And again, this is the AI response summary from what everyone said. It was a bit of a mixed bag of stuff, but it falls into 4 main categories. People were really keen to know about AI tools. There was a lot of tell me about AI, and we'll try and help with that. There was a lot of questions about Google tools and productivity, and like how can you use tools to be more productive and explore resources and so on. So we'll talk a bit about that. A lot of people were keen to just network, just meet other people, meet other teachers, just share ideas. So hopefully we can offer some of that. And this, again, this idea of teaching and learning enhancement. So that's what people said they were interested in getting out of this group, and hopefully we can help you do that. All right, there are some things coming up as well. So our goal is to hold 2 things every term. And originally we were going to try and do 1 face-to-face and 1 virtual, but we're doing what we can do at the moment. And so far, the first few will probably be online, and then we'll move into some face-to-face ones later. So in September, we're going to do what we call an Ask Me Anything session, where we'll give you a link later on. And there's a form you can fill out and just throw questions in there. And we're just going to do like a rapid fire answering people's questions in the next session in September. In October, we're going to do a deep dive into artificial intelligence and a whole bunch of Gemini stuff. I'm going to show you some Gemini stuff today, but I've only got 10 minutes to do it, so it's really, it'll be a bit of a surface skim. But in October, we're going to do a real deep dive. And I saw Julian's name pop up there about wanting to help out with that, and I would love that, Jules, because you are a master of that AI stuff. I'd love you to join in with that. End of the year, we've got some quick tips and updates to finish off the end of the year. And then what we're planning to do in January next year, we don't have an exact date for it yet, is to actually run like an in-person back to school event. And I'm trying to organise with Google to actually run it at the Google office in Sydney. And looks like we'll probably be able to do that. We just don't have a specific date yet. So hopefully we can make that happen. All right. Who wants to talk about this?
Well, I'll explain the picture. So I don't know if you've heard of Whisk Experiment. It's a Google tool. And I just said I wanted a image. I put our 3 profile pictures into Whisk and said, make an image of us presenting online. And that's what it came up with. So I think...
I think that's called the Levins effect.
So it doesn't quite look like us, but we tried. But basically, for how you can be involved, add all of those upcoming events to your calendar. Check that you're getting out emails. Chris is really great at sending out those for you through our group that he set up. Yeah. And make sure, maybe check your spam just to check that they haven't gone there instead. Join, spread the word. So we're still, I've set up all the social media, but like I've still, haven't had a huge play with it all yet. So once I share some things and we all can share them along, would be great. And Chris has made some GEG Sydney logos that you can add to your email signature. And there's a folder there through the link there that you can use some and download one and add it to your choose.
If you haven't seen it already, let me just go over here. We have set a website up for the GEG, and this is it here. On here, you'll find a bunch of information about what's a GEG, how to join one, what's the code of conduct, let's be nice to each other. That's that logo page that we just mentioned. So if you wanted to add a logo to your, I don't know, your signature file, or however you might want to use it. If you're giving a presentation, you want to somehow shout out to GEG, there's some logos there you can use. There's also a bunch of resources there. These link out to some of the official Google web pages. But as far as events, all the events, you'll find there's a calendar overview here, which is embedded into a Google Calendar. And so hopefully when that loads, there you go. So you'll see all the events that are coming up. We'll try and keep this current all the time. If anything changes, this will hopefully be the source of truth. And if you can come in here, you can click on any of those and it's got the description. So we're trying to put everything in one place for you to make it nice and easy. As events happen, we'll do an individual page for each event. So this is the page for what we're doing right now today. And you can see there's the agenda. These are the slides we're using. So if you want a copy of your own slides, you can get them right here. So we're just trying to make sure everything's in one place. So always make it easy for you. Okay, back to the slides. All right, Claire, you're the social media gal.
So we've set up pages on all of these channels. So some will probably use a bit more than others. But yeah, feel free to go along and follow us and share away and share the love. Yeah.
Twitter's conspicuously absent there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Kel, you're running this, right?
Yep. All good. Thank you. Okay, so
I've set up the breakout rooms as well, and there's about 5 or 6 people in each room.
fantastic. Perfect. So what we're going to do now is break off into breakout rooms. And essentially, when you are in the breakout room, if there's 4 or 5 people in each room, we've got 10 minutes for this little section. So it's about 2 minutes each. Just basically what the 3 of us shared about ourselves. So our background in education, any experience with Google tools, or sort of what brought you here. And then a fun fact about yourself, just to start to get to know people that are here today. Everybody here is here for the same reason, so please don't be shy. So if Chris, you can hit the button, and we'll see you back in the main room.
I will. I'm going to press a button in a second. Actually, if I can find the button, where is it?
We'll see you back here in 10 minutes.
Hang on.
And then the monkey flipped the switch.
Maybe.
I can see the button for people in rooms, but where's the button to launch it?
Oh, no.
Oh, there it is. Open rooms. Right.
All learning journey together, everybody. That's
Yeah,
what
we'll
we're
shoot
here
a room for about 10 minutes, have a chat, meet people, talk about, introduce yourselves, and we'll see you back here in about 10 minutes. I'm going to put a timer on it. Timer. I can do this. I know I can. We're all just making this up as we go along, right?
Make it till you make it.
Exactly. I don't know how we're going for time. I'm not timing anything.
We're about 5 minutes. Oh, yeah, behind, but we're
Oh, okay. I'll try and be quick. I'm going to talk to you for a few minutes just about AI tools in the classroom. There are people in this meeting who could probably go way more in depth about any of this than I'm going to, and I've also don't have a lot of time to talk to you, so I am going to kind of skim the surface. But we are doing a deep dive coming up shortly, so that's our rationale. We're going to talk about Gemini, some Gemini Google Gems stuff, in case you're not familiar with Gems. I want to focus on deep research. It's my favorite thing that Gemini does. I love the deep research stuff. And just the new AI tools for educators that are inside Google Classroom that was just released for free for everybody. Just announced that a couple of weeks ago. It used to be a paid feature. Now everyone has access to it. And I'm also going to ask you to do a quick little poll, and we're going to do it as we go along. You can use the chat tool here. There's a little speech bubble down the bottom right corner. It's the chat. As we go through, I'd love to just get some feedback on what you're hearing, and tell me which one of the AI tools that I'm going to share with you are you most keen to try, and why. So first of all, prompting skills. We talk about this idea of prompting, that what you ask of an AI is basically what you'll get back. So the better you are at asking it. And I read a great LinkedIn post the other day from a guy who said teachers, in his opinion, teachers are really well placed to be good with AI, because we're good at 2 things as teachers. We're good at explaining things really clearly, and we're good at giving feedback when things aren't right. And that's ultimately what you're doing with an AI. When you prompt it, you're really asking it in a really clear way to do something. And the clearer you can be about explaining what you want, the better a response you'll get. And I think teachers naturally are pretty good at that. And when you do get a response, if it's not what you want, you fine tune it by going back and sort of going through a feedback cycle and asking it to improve this or change that or update this. And again, I think teachers are really good at that because we give feedback all the time. So when you write a prompt, you'll write it in the bottom box there, and you'll just ask Gemini to do what it is you want. If you've used other LLMs, AIs, generative AIs, so if you've used ChatGPT or Llama or Perplexity or any of those others, they all work basically the same way. You prompt it to do something and it does something, and then you decide whether what the something it did was good or not. When you're prompting, I just want to go through these 5 little quick things. When you're prompting, there's 5 components that you should really think about. One is, who are you acting as? What's the persona you're being? So when you start the prompt, you say, act as an expert teacher, or act as a creative learning designer, or tell it who it needs to be in order to do the prompt. That's the first thing. Second thing is, describe really clearly what it is you want it to do. So describe in clear detail what you want assistance with. be as clear and explicit and direct as you possibly can, because again, garbage in, garbage out. If there's a particular format or tone you want it to be in, if you want bullet points, or you don't want bullet points, or you want it to sound like Shakespeare, or you want it to be a poem in the style of Dr. Seuss, whatever it might be, describe what format you want the response to come back as. And that's probably what you'll get. If there's any context or constraints around what you're asking, like, you know, it's no good saying, give me a teaching program to teach an art unit, right? For who, what age, where, which curriculum, how long's it got to last? Like, all of that detail will give you a much better response. So be really clear about the context and the constraints you're trying to use. And then if you've got any examples, a lot of these AIs are really good if you can upload a document and say, here's an example of what I'm talking about, like it can work with that. So, you know, those are the 5 things: personas, tasks, format, context, constraints, and examples. So bear those in mind. Now, here's an example of what something might look like. So a basic prompt, like a not good one, but would probably work, is like, generate 2 highly engaging classroom discussion activities for a project on food waste. Like, if you just put that in, you'd get something, right? But it'd be a lot better if you said, act as an expert learning designer for secondary students with a focus on sustainability, generate comprehensive teacher notes for 2 highly engaging. I'm not going to read the whole thing because you can read, but you know what I mean? Like, that second prompt made up of the 5 components is going to give you a much better output than just that top one, which is obviously pretty bare bones. Okay, so just some tips there about that. Now, when you write a really good prompt and you put all that detail in, it's kind of annoying if you've got to do that every single time. And that's where gems come in. So gems are custom-made bundles of prompt. I can describe it as that. So in a gem, you've told it who you're acting as and what the constraints are and how to behave, and you're telling it all that stuff, and you're saving that as a bundle of prompt, right? And then rather than just ask Gemini and have to put all that stuff in, you can ask the gem, and the gem will respond because it knows who it is. Alpa's just said, are the gems now free? Yes, they are. All the gems are free now. What's that?
I was just typing, yes, they are.
Oh, right. So Google Gemini comes with a couple of pre-built gems. You may log in and see 4. I've sometimes logged in and seen more than 4. I think it changes all the time. I don't quite know why. But there's a standard ones. There's a brainstormer, a writing editor, a copy creator, and a learning coach. And so when you ask, say, the learning coach, it's going to act like someone who's a learning coach. It's going to give you that type of answer and that type of response. So these are great. Now, the really neat thing, though, is you can create your own. So this is a screenshot of mine. I don't know why. I always name mine for some reason. I give them names. And each of these has a different persona. So like Fiona there, I've actually uploaded all of the Google branding guidelines from marketing and put them in there. And every time I ask it to rewrite something now, if I get that gem to write it for me, it uses all the correct Google branding terminology, right? So that's pretty cool. My favorite one, well, I've got like Jessica, the early years teacher. So if you go into Jessica, she's been told to act like an early years teacher. Answer questions simply. Don't use complicated language. Ask lots of questions. Put it in terms that 5-year-olds can understand, right? And so you can ask any question, but it'll always come back and explain. Is there? Yes, thanks, Jules. But the one that I have a fun one here that I use all the time as my example because it always makes me laugh. I made a gem of Pluto, the ex-planet Pluto. And so that gem's been loaded up with all sorts of information about the solar system, but it's been told, act as Pluto, the planet that was demoted, and you've got a real chip on your shoulder about that fact. And so every time you ask Pluto something now, it goes, well, I suppose I can tell you about the solar system, but only if I have to because I'm no longer part of it. Like, it'll just act really snarky all the time. So that's what a gem is, and you can make your own. You can write your own. You put whatever context you want behind it, and it behaves that way. This is, I don't know if you've been catching up on this. This is the Vera C. Rubin telescope, large scales. I forget what the LSST stands for. Someone will tell me in the chat, I'm sure. but it's on a mountaintop in Chile, and it's the largest telescope ever built, and it's doing all sorts of amazing surveying of the sky. Right now, I didn't know anything about this, but when I heard about it, I was fascinated. So what I went to Gemini Deep Research, and the way you trigger deep research is down in the prompt box. There's a button there that says Deep Research, and all you got to do is click that button. And when you put your prompt in there, now Gemini will respond not just with a standard prompt response answer, but with a really, really deeply researched answer. So I put that in there. I wanted to know about the Vera C. Rubin Observatory, how big it was, why it's important, all those sorts of big questions. And it went away and researched for me hundreds of websites. First of all, it came up with a research plan, which I think is really interesting. I think one of our jobs is to teach kids how to do research. And if a kid can see how an AI is approaching a research task, that in itself could be a really interesting thing to use in your classroom, to have a look how the AI is approaching it. And is that how you approach it, right? So it came up with a research plan, and I clicked that blue button and said, start the research, and it chugged away. And it came up with this full research report where it looked at hundreds and hundreds of websites on my behalf. It basically went and read hundreds of websites, came back and collated it all into a report. How long is that report, I hear you ask? Well, I printed it as a PDF. Hang on. Well, first of all, you can export it to docs just by doing that export to docs thing. I exported it to docs, converted it to PDF, and laid it out on a page so you can see the whole thing. Like, it's a 28-page report, and you can see those last, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages is a bibliography where it links out to all of the research that it's gathered, right? It's got tables of data. It's collated things in a really interesting way. Now, that kind of blows my mind a little bit. And if I was a teacher in a classroom right now, I'd be I'm not sure how I'd respond to this, right? Because this is something kids can do. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but it certainly might make you change the questions you ask. But that's what it does. It responds with really detailed, long, deeply researched reports. The other thing you can do once you've generated a deep research report is click that create button in the top corner, and you can create a web page, an infographic, a quiz, or an audio overview. So some of you have seen the audio overviews in Notebook LM. You can do that here in Deep Research as well. If you do a quiz or an infographic or a web page, it can do that as well. I was playing with this yesterday, and I asked my gem of Pluto to make a quiz for me, and it came up with the snarkiest answers I've ever. I was literally laughing, belly laughing out loud how funny it was. It's like you can do some really neat stuff with this, right? There's a quiz that it created. There's an audio overview that it created. I'm going to deep dive into these in our session, like a couple of sessions from now. So we'll go right through this and get hands-on with it. But that's just a bit of an overview of the stuff that goes on. And then just finally, I'm just going to finish on this. There are at least 30, I think there's 34 or something now, Gemini-based tools now inside Google Classroom. These were behind a paywall, and unless you had a Gemini license, you couldn't get access to it. And now you can. Every teacher gets this for free in every edition of Workspace. Doesn't matter if you're on the Fundamentals free edition or whatever. So you go into Classroom now, you'll see a button on the left-hand side that says Gemini, I think it says Gemini AI. And you can click on that, and it's got all these modules. Some of them I refer to as pre-built helpers. So things like generate text-dependent questions, or write an information text, or create a vocabulary. They're little, you tell it what age group you want, tell it what subject it's for, and it'll just generate it for you. And some of the other ones, the ones with the little blue stars on them, when you use those, they more or less throw you out to Gemini, and they will do that, that prompt for you. But it's a great way to learn what a prompt looks like and get an idea of the sorts of response you get back from the prompt, because it throws you into live Gemini. You find all those right now in Gemini Classroom. If you want to know more about any of this stuff, the 23rd of October, we're going to do a whole deep dive into this for a bit longer than we have today. We'll get hands-on, and you'll get a chance to play with things. We'll do demos and all sorts of stuff. So there you go. That is my session done. Sorry if I talk too long. But,
No. Now, Chris, you're going to have to drive, because when we came back from the breakout, I lost that access to, So I'm just going to be talking about some Google tips and teacher hacks that I've used and actually I've done. If you've come to a Google summit before, when the presenters have to do a demo slam, these are ones that I've done and I've come second every time. So I'm going to win one day. So these are some ones that I've done. Thanks, Chris. So first one that I wanted to talk about, if you haven't heard of it, it's an oldie but a goodie, good old auto draw. And it's a really great way for you to introduce AI, particularly with the younger learners, because how it works, you can see I'm drawing a little tree there and it generates up the top all these like stencil images, so you can pick the one. So if you find students are wanting to illustrate something using the computer, building their Chromebook skills and things like that, it's such a great tool. I like to integrate it with literacy, where they can draw a picture and then write about it, or vice versa, and share that on Google Classroom or any other platform you might like to use, like Seesaw. And it's just such a cool way, and they just love it. And it's really great, like I said, to build those Chromebook skills as well, of click and drag and building that digital literacy as well. They can download it to their drive. And it's a great resource, and the kids love it. So yeah, that's a really cool one that I like to do. Another one that you might have heard of, and I was going to go on and do it live, but we're running out of time, but you might have heard of Say What You See. And it's a great, on the Google Arts and Culture, if you haven't ventured down there before, have a look. There's so many great tools on there, but it's a great way to introduce prompts with people. I've done it at lots of staff meetings with schools to get them on board. So how it works, it's like a game, and you can see that there's a bowl of ramen there. So you have to prompt by saying exactly what you see in that image, and you're trying to also get the AI to generate the exact same image as that one based on your prompts that you give it. And it's a fun one to do with the students in the class as well, and talk about the importance of, writing good prompts, or like writing the information clearly. And you only get 120 characters to do it. So yeah, it's a little bit, it's always a bit funny to see what it comes up with. So, I mean, it's a bit small, but I just quickly put in a prompt, and then it generates it. And then based on the prompt that I gave it, this is the result. Not too bad, 83%. That's a pretty good one. Sometimes they're harder to explain, but yeah, so then you progress through the levels. So it's a really good sort of opener for, like, if you're introducing this with your students or with your staff. And another one, who knew all about the lovely 3 dots on our Chrome browser? I found out not long ago. So, yes, I know, Christine. It's called the kebab menu, or the hot dog menu, or there's a few names for it. But it's more than just a snack, guys. It's your secret ingredient for supercharging productivity. Gemini didn't help me write this at all. And then so basically, I'm going to show you 2 things that are game changers from the 3 dots, your kebab menu. And you're going to transform your browse experience from chaotic to controlled, with a few little clicks of the powerful 3 dots. So the first one is, did you know you can create a QR code from your 3 dots? I know. I used to use many outside websites to help me make QR codes all the time. So just say you're on a website that you want to create one on, you go to your 3 dots, go down to more tools, or cast, save and share, actually that box is in the wrong spot, and then create QR code, and bam, you get it straight away. You can download it or just copy it, and so that one's a really cool one. So nice. And who knew that it was right there in your little... And
it comes with Stanley the dinosaur right in the middle.
Yes, it does. And the other one I wanted to show you, I don't know about you, but lots of teachers and principals that I've worked with have a gazillion tabs open on their Chrome browser at all times. And then they don't want to close anything because they might lose something important. And they don't realize you can actually make tab groups, and you can color code them, which, as you can tell, that makes me very excited. So basically you go to your 3 dots, go down to tab groups, and you can create a new tab. And what you can do is you can start to add websites that tabs you've already got open. I just right click, add them to a tab group, and you can color code them and name them as a group. And I might share these videos a bit bigger so we can see them a bit better. But basically, yeah, you can group them. And then once you've got, you can start making lots of them. And then all you do is you tap on it to close it. So in that picture I've got up here, you can see like these are all like a teacher's got like tabs for certain subjects ready to go. So you just tap on it to open it, and then you've got all of the ones you might need ready for a lesson. And then once you've done it, here on, if you've got your bookmarks bar visible, so I could do a whole nother thing on bookmarks, but you'll see the little coloured tab groups there too. So they go on there. So yeah, it's a really cool way to organise yourself and not lose and have a gazillion tabs open on your screen. So there you go.
Awesome. And if you want to know anything about more tips and ideas, we've got an Ask Me Anything session coming up in the next one on the 16th of September. And I'm sure Claire and Kelly, there will be lots of little tips and tricks and stuff that we can talk about there as well.
I love that, Jodie. Now you have a gazillion groups. So good. All the colours of the rainbow.
All right. Oh, wrong one.
My fault, we both press it.
Oh, who's pressing it?
Sorry, that was me. You go.
Okay. Cool. Alrighty. So we have 10 minutes left. So what I would love is anybody that is out there in Chatland. I know I've got my eye on two of you. How are you using Google tools in your classroom or with your program? And so would you just like to share quick 2-minute practical wins? And yeah, so
can I dob Emma in? Emma and I were speaking earlier and she told me one.
Yep.
And I said, tell them that. So.
Yep, go for it, Emma.
Hi. I went to the EduTech conference and I picked up lots of things, but the thing that I really took back to my year 4 class was the vids. So we sat down one day and I explained it to them and we made a quick one together and I told them to play with it and see what they could do. And they're like ducks to water. They just went and enjoyed it. And now, like, about 3 or 4 times a week, I'm getting them sending me or sharing with me little vids that they've made about their day at the park or their dog or their cat. So my theory in it all is if they've played with it, when I get them to use it for an assessment task, which they will do at the end of this term, I don't have to teach them how to do it. I just got to give them the content of what my expectations are and the success criteria. And then from then on, they'll be able to play with it and send me something of better quality than if they haven't had that experience. I think they've got to have that hands-on play first before I'm going to get what I need.
Amazing. I love that, Emma.
Fantastic.
So good. Cool. Who else would like to share something? I think Julian just said he's got a 90-second share.
Chris is already smiling, going 90 seconds. Good luck, Rido. Sadly, I can't share my screen, so I can't do it. So I'll just quickly explain. AI Studio in Google has become my favorite tool very quickly. It's this idea of what's called vibe coding. If you haven't heard of it, you don't have to learn to write code. You can talk to a system and it creates code for you. And what it can create is absolutely mind-blowing. What I was going to show and can't, so I'll leave it for another session, is I created one which was a parent complaint simulator. It's full audio. So you can set up what the parent's complaining about. You can say how calm or how irrational they are, because again, if someone's irrational, you can't help them. And then it talks to you and your microphone's on and you're talking back live and you can interrupt them. And as you go through the simulation, when it finishes, it then provides feedback on what you did well, what you didn't do well, and allows you to retry it. So that's just one of 3 different things that I've been creating in the Google AI Studio, which again used to cost money, but it's now free as part of the Gemini rollout. So it's become my favorite tool to play with.
That's a good coaching tool, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say amazing for those students once they get to that sort of job interview age where they can practice interview skills and things like that, debating skills.
Although I just realized, I think I
clicking
can
skills.
share it because, of course, it's Google. So what I'll do is I'll put a link into the chat for anyone who wants to have a play. And the great thing is you can copy it. But again, when you have a look at it, it was built with zero code. I'm not a developer. I'm a teacher. So I literally just talk to it. You chat to it. I want to do this. And I tried doing this. And yeah, this was created in about 2 hours. So if anybody wants to have a look at the link, it's there. You can play with it or make your own copy.
Amazing. Thank you. I think, Sharon, you said that you would be happy to share.
Yep, sure. So last term I worked with Stage 1 and we have one-to-one Chromebooks at our school, which is great. So the principal really wanted just that Stage 1 are comfortable with using the devices, seeing that we are one-to-one, because the Year 2s, especially next year, they need to use it for NAPLAN. So I went in there and some classes didn't even have a Google Classroom set up yet. So I was able to set up a Google Classroom. Hopefully I'm also helping the teachers by them watching me. But the students, even though they're Year 1 or Year 2, they were fine with using Google Classroom. I taught them how to use either the magnifying glass or the button at the bottom of the screen so they can search for Google Classroom. They wanted some typing practice, so I just put a link in there for them to the little program we were using for typing, and then just any little assignment I could give them just so they could get used to using the Google Workspace tools, even though they are Stage 1, and they loved it.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Love that. So good. Amazing. We maybe have time for one more share.
I had one that I was going to mention, I thought.
Yep. Thanks. Rach.
But I feel like it's not perhaps as exciting as some of the others because I've had 2 days back in the classroom after almost 2 years out. So I haven't got classroom specific examples. I've been spending all of my time in spreadsheets lately with lots of data and stuff like that. And I know that this exists in, Excel and things like that as well, but I didn't know about it. Google's got it. So if you go to format, there's like an option there called convert to table, and it will make your spreadsheet look so much better. And it organizes your data just beautifully so that you can do automatic formatting, column type selections, filtering, sorting, all of these different things that it sort of does for you.
And it's code, isn't it, Rach?
Yeah, it's just easier. It makes you look like a spreadsheet whiz. So if you haven't been to format, convert to table, give it a go.
Awesome.
Nice. Love a quick spreadsheet hack. Who doesn't love a spreadsheet?
I do. And I know Jody said you might have a quick win there, Jode.
Just quickly writing notes down. I teach in a private school, so the masters are in universe, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad. And it's taken me nearly 18 months. We have opened Google Chat to the students last Wednesday.
Oh,
So
how's that going?
it took a long time. We're trialing with our boarders and a couple of our Year 9 classes, but with a view to opening for kids, I think 9, 10, 11, 12 in week 6. And it's been a long road to work in our workspace with permission.
wow. Love that.
I never gave up.
We're going to check back in with
That's
you to
what
see how it's
Google
going.
champions do, Jody.
That's right.
I was relentless. I just kept different direction, kept trying. The parameters, the safe space really helped.
Nice.
Very cool.
Amazing. Well, thank you.
IT dudes.
Thank you, everybody that jumped in. It's awesome to hear what's going on in schools, but every one of these sessions will definitely have the opportunity for people to share as well. So we don't want to be the only voices in this network. So we're definitely always keen for people to share when they can. So I'm going to hand back to Chris and we will wrap it up.
Thanks, Kel. That's such an important point, is that I think the reason so many other GEGs that I've seen not really go anywhere over the years is because it gets too focused on the few people that are trying to run it and not enough on the people that are the community. And what we're really big on with this particular Google Educator Group is making sure that it's community driven. So yes, it might be Kelly and Claire and I might be sort of trying to make things happen for now, but it's your group. We want to make sure that that you are able to contribute to it, you're able to get what you want for it, and it's a group of people that sort of work together. It's not just 3 people. What do they say? Someone who's if I forget the saying now, so don't worry about it. If you're leading and have no followers, then you're just taking your walk, something like that.
Yeah, no.
Important that even though we say we're the leaders of this group, we totally it's all about the group and the community. Anyway, so what's next? We've got a session coming up on 16th of September. As we mentioned, it's an Ask Me Anything session. There is a QR code there. And if you want to scan that code or just grab that address, bit.ly/GEG Sydney _AMA, and maybe one of you guys could drop that in the chat for me. That'd be awesome. There's a form there you can fill in and just throw a question in. And it could be like, I don't know how to do this specific thing with a spreadsheet that's always bothered me. I know it's possible, but I don't know how to do it. Or it could be, is there a tool to do X, Y, Z? Or it could be, I had a guy contact me yesterday about something in Google Classroom that he didn't know about, and I didn't know about it. We learned about it together. So, throw your questions in there. We'll collate them together. We'll group them together if there's some overlap. But come along and ask questions live as well. It might not just be the 3 of us. We are part of a larger community of other experts in this stuff. So we'll try and bring people together and make sure that you get the answers that you need. And that's coming up on 16th of September. And with that, I'll throw back to my co-hosts.
Yeah, thank you guys. We're so thrilled. This has been a long time coming that we've been talking about this, many years in the making. So we're so thrilled that we got to put it together for you and share our launch today. And we're also equally thrilled with how many have turned up today. So thank you so much.
Yes.
Yep.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
everybody.
Thanks for that. Oh, thanks for getting the ball rolling.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming.
The recording is going to stop, but if you want to hang around for a couple of minutes, if you need to chat or anything, we'll still be here for a couple of minutes, and we'll see you next time.